awesome to be back to talk African football once again on Nigeria Super Fans Forum. Welcome once again, wherever you are joining us from. My name is Ashalolu Afemi. James Agberebi is here, and of course, we'll be looking at everything regarding African football on the show once again. Today, of course, we have to, first of all, send our prayers to the people of Malawi who are going through some turbulent time following rainfall and of course very terrible environmental disaster going on. A lot of people have lost their lives, so we are sending our thoughts and prayers to families who have lost their loved ones. And of course today is the final burial, the burial of Christian Achu, and it's been a flood of tears at the forecourt of the State House in Accra, Ghana, where dignitaries around the world are gathered. Of course, the president of the country, President Nana Akufo-Addo, is expected. The vice president is chief of staff. Of course, representative from artists sport in Turkey, and of course, GFA officials, clubs in Ghana, and of course, orphanage homes that are being run by Christian Achu. We don't know what will happen to those orphanage homes now. And of course, we are inmates who were bailed out, who were rehabilitated by Christian Achu. And of course, we had a wife of Christian, Michael Lessing, I meant to say. All of them are there. We have, of course, Sabi Kufo, Sule Montari, lots of them, musicians, artists, celebrities across Ghana. They are all gathered at the forecourt at this moment to pay their last respect. One very key thing that we have to take away from this is the glorious homegoing of Christian Achu, because when the whole country, and of course, even the full ceremonial sent for that is being given, is enough honor as far as I am concerned. His wife and kids are also there. James, welcome to the show. I think we have to talk about Christian Achu to open the show with the manner at which it's being said to me. He's being given full state burial, full respect. And I think that is one thing we should take away from this. He died prematurely, but his homegoing is very glorious.
Yes, for someone like Christian Achu, deserve all the whatever burial rights, because he's a national hero. He did a lot before he passed on. We can't say enough of Achu. It's sad that he's going to be committed to motherhood today. So what can we say than pray that God will continue to be with his family. It's painful. This day, we've dreaded this day, but I mean, there's nothing we can do. The inevitable. Just have to be committed to Mother Earth, and we just pray that all that he did, all his good deeds, it should not be abandoned, because this part of the world, especially in Africa, we always have this thing about us that once the owner of a particular project is no more, that project just die off. So I just pray that all his plans, everything that he has, or everything that he has planned to do before he passed on, everything will be completed and run in his name. Because somebody like this, it will be sad that his plans and everything that he was trying to put down, all these things are to help people. So it's not as if he wants to do it for himself or for his family alone. He wants to do it to touch lives. Unfortunately, this happened. So I just pray that everything that he has in stock, everything will continue in his name, so that he continue to be a shining light. So once again, I will say, may his soul continue to rest in peace.
Yeah, amen. Of course, I saw flood of tears. Sami Kufo and Sule Montari, they were inconsolable as they fired past his body, as was being lined in state at the forecourt. So we pray that God will grant his repose, eternal rest in his bosom. All right, James, let's get started, or let's take a trip back home to Nigeria. Of course, reactions have continued to trail the list released by Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro for the double weather against Guinea Bissau and the 2020 Africa Cup of qualifiers. And a lot of Nigerians are asking, what about Boniface? What about Onyedika? What about even Chuba Akpom and even Adeleye, the goalkeeper, and Gift Oban, I meant to say. Now, Togo gradually, I read an article a few days ago who said, you remember Oban left Nigeria for Togo, and it seems he might eventually decide to identify with Togo if Nigeria continue to delay giving national call-up. But people have been saying, and people are asking, what is Musa? What is Aribo? What is Onuachu? What even Bama you doing in the squad, James?
Well, Femi, when I saw the squad, I was a bit surprised. At the same time, I wasn't surprised because when it comes to qualifiers like the Super Eagles, you always be ready to see things that will shock you, and at the same time, things that at the end of the day, we just like it's Nigeria. You expected such from them. I'm looking at the list. For one, Ahmed Musa. I don't know. Maybe they will tell you that because they need a leader that is the only one who has that leadership quality. So fine, he might not be playing, but his off pitch leadership ability is needed in the team. Maybe that's the reason why they keep inviting him. I don't know. But left to me, I think it's that time Musa leave the scene. Yeah, they have seen it or done it.
Someone, sorry, James, sorry to cut in. Someone who rarely plays for Silver Sport.
You begin to imagine.
He left Fertic Guru because he wasn't getting playing time under Andre Pello. Then he went to Silver Sport. And even at Silver Sport, things are not any different for him.
And he keeps getting invited to the Super Eagles. Just like I said, maybe they all feel they just need his off-pitch leadership role. Maybe that's part of the reason why they are inviting him. Then looking at for the two Flying Eagles players that were invited, especially the captain, Daniel Bamai. I was surprised too because for me, he wasn't even the best Flying Eagles player in that tournament. I mean, we had somebody like Solomon
Agbalaka, yeah.
Yeah, whose invitation would have even caused kind of uproar too because
Agbalaka even made the best 11 in the tournament.
Agbalaka even won back-to-back man of the match award.
Man of the match award, yeah.
And for now, and they dropped him for the captain. Because I watched the Flying Eagles at the last. They just concluded on the 20 AFCON. For me, it's not even I'm trying to bring him down, but he wasn't that fantastic. I think the mistake the coach made was overlooking some players in the MPFL. You can't tell me that if you look in the league.
James, what happened to Tosin Adarabioyo? Because we've heard that he is now signified interest to play for Nigeria after waiting all a lifetime for a call-up from the England national team. But now he has indicated interest to play for Nigeria. What about inviting someone like that for the first time?
I mean, there's no confirmation yet from the NFF that it has. Tosin will now start playing for Nigeria. There's no confirmation yet, so I think they just reports flying around, and since there was no confirmation from the body that is involved in running our football, so I didn't really expect much on that side. But even talking about Tosin, I don't think he's somebody that will just walk into the Super Eagles because he's playing for Fulham. If he's playing in the Premier League, but I don't think he's that defender that will come to the Super Eagles and just make everything start working. He's a fine defender, but I think there are other players. I can even rate some defenders.
Who is better? Who is? So, sorry, I was asking. Okay, would you prefer Truth Ekong to Adarabioyo, or would you prefer Balogun?
I will go for Truth Ekong and Balogun based on experience, because you can't throw Tosin into this is the Super Eagles. This is the biggest team in the Nigerian national team, so you can't just throw somebody.
We've also seen the calamities. We've also seen the calamities that the Oyinbo has brought to us.
I know, but at the same time, okay, when you bring in Tosin now and he starts playing and he commits error in his first game, you know what will happen to him. Remember what happened to Peter Ike in his first outing for the Super Eagles? The moment he made just that one appearance, he never got the call up again because he didn't live up to expectation. So sometimes when you bring these players, you have to be very careful. You don't just bring them in and throw them into the team. I've heard instances where people talk about why didn't they bring Gift Orban, Boniface, Victor Boniface. Fine, these guys are doing well in Europe, but this is the national team. Fine, they are very good players, but sometimes the pressure of playing for the national team. This one, you're not even starting from the junior team. You're playing for the national team. A lot of players, their career have ended just with one appearance for the national team because the pressure was too much for them to handle. So these kind of players, you bring them in gradually. You don't just throw them into the team like that.
Yeah, I mean, James, we are not saying that they should play right. That means we're not looking at the future already. Balogun is over 30. Trusekong is close to 30 if he's not 30 already. Adarabioyo is between 25 and 26. So are we thinking about the future already? That is what I'm
Femi,
saying.
Femi, that's why we have friendly games. So that's why we fault the Super Eagles coach. Especially friendly games. You don't test players with competitive games. There are very few players who will make their mark in competitive games. But that's what friendly games are there to try out this player. But the kind of a national coach we have is somebody who just still bring in the same set of guys, the guys who we all know what they can do. Even when they're not playing that much, it's the same set of players that he will invite. That's why we have friendly games. I just pray that Super Eagles will qualify for the AFCON, maybe with some games to spare. So that will be an opportunity to try out these guys, then play friendly games. But though not in a competitive game like this. Fine, you want to play against Guinea Bissau, but I tell you, it's going to be a very tough encounter. So for me, the list is a bit, I don't know. For me, it's not that okay for me. Especially that midfield. You have
a lot of players are not invited on merit.
You have a Juaribu who hardly plays for Southampton.
For Southampton.
Onuachu is there to score a goal for Southampton. Frank Onyeka is just coming back from injury. But you have a Rafael Onyedika who is a regular for Club Brugge.
For Club Brugge, yeah.
Club Brugge, and you overlooked him. Tyrone Ebue is a regular for Empoli in Syria. Ola Aina too, I think he started, but I don't know. So sometimes
Ola Aina is not even. I think Ola Aina was not invited.
He was not invited, Yeah. So for me, there are so many loopholes in this list, So you begin to imagine what goes into the heads of our national team coach. I say we have a technical director, technical department. So sometimes you begin to imagine what kind of work do they even do there? Because I believe before they make the list public, I believe the technical department would have gone through it, ask questions. But I mean, it just go to show that it's business as usual. You bring in the same player that we've seen, players that they don't challenge. You don't bring in players to challenge this guy. That's why they feel so comfortable to do the way they like when it comes to the national team. As long as the Super Eagles remain like this, that there's no competition among the players, we're going to see these same guys who just come in, turn up, collect their allowance, give us 70%, 60% performance, and go back to their club side.
Okay, all right. So let's go to Super Falcons now, James. Days ago, a former BBC reporter, Osazo Obayowana, was saying some things about some information they got from an insider in the NFL. In the NFF, talking about why Asisat Oshoala was stripped of the captain band. She was initially given after Okparanozie was stripped of the captain band. Now, we are learning that Odomebi was given a captain band because they know she cannot question the authority or fight for the right of her teammate. And that was the reason why Asisat Oshoala was denied that captain and band. And of course, and he also raised the fact that haven't we noticed that each time the Super Falcons have a game, Asisat Oshoala is always injured. That is not good for Nigerian football. James, what do you have to say?
Femi, from what I've seen and observed, I think there's a big division in the Super Falcons, whether we like it or not. I think we have two camps in the Super Falcons, and for a team that's going to the World Cup, I mean, going in this kind of condition, I think it's only going to spell one thing, and that's doom for the team. Because since I've been missing some international invitational tournaments which the Super Falcons have been attending, So and from all fine, we can say all these are just mere speculations, but when things like that keep occurring, I mean, you cannot just wave them aside again. So for me, I believe there's a big division in that team, and until we deal with this, I mean, this team is going to have a very bad outing at the World Cup. Of course, whether I like it or not, Asisat Oshoala is Nigeria's biggest women's player. She's the biggest. She plays for one of the biggest teams in Europe. She's been banging in goals. She's been doing well for the club side. But when it comes to the Super Falcons, he's always not available. So for me, I know one thing about I've always said it that a player like Onomebe has no business in the team again. She has been playing for the Super Falcons, if I can recall, since 2003.
Close to 40 now?
2003, which I believe some of the players who are in the team now, they were not even born then when she started playing for the So, I mean, fine, you say, okay, take your experienced player to the World Cup, but she hardly stays in the club. I don't think she's even. I don't know whether she even has a club right now. As I'm speaking.
No, she doesn't, as far as I
So
know.
yeah, fine. It's nothing bad when you make experienced players your captain, but that sometimes you just have to apply wisdom. I mean, for me, Ochuala should be the captain because she has proven it. She's the regular. She's been scoring goals. She has been doing it for our club side. You can't say the same thing for Onomebi. So for me, Onomebi is that time she leaves the scene. She has seen it, or I don't know whether she's pursuing a personal record of maybe being the player who has attended the most World Cup. I don't know, maybe it's why this
Okay.
thing around. She has won the WAFCON. She has seen it, or she has been to the Olympics. So I think it's that time she just take a back seat. And it goes to show that even I think coaching crew, I don't think they have that stamp of authority when it comes to this issue, because this has been lingering on for a long time. And if this is not taken care of, I mean, we're going to have a disaster at the World Cup. When last did a player like Okparanusi, who are doing well for our club side, she's as if she has been she's now an outcast in the team. You see the same set of players that we've been seeing. Players that so there are some of them that are even struggling in the team. But I don't know. I don't know what's happening, that some players are not even having the looking. So just pray that they settle all this so that the Super Falcons will have a good outing, because the kind of sound that I'm seeing, I mean, if they don't take care of this team is going to get bashed at the World Cup.
Really, see, James, we don't even need to call a spade a fake. The signs are there that Super Falcons are not going to do well, because we saw it in the last year's Africa Women Cup of Nations in Morocco. We saw how it ended, where people like Onome could not even run. And you have we saw Monday Gift. Monday Gift, a very talented young lady, and was left on the bench on many occasions by Randy Wardrum. So it is a case of bad things just merry-go-round. In fact, as a matter of fact, Osazu also alleged that Onomebi was chosen as a captain of the Super Falcons by the NFF and not Randy Wardrum. So we can see that it's hard to even put all the blame on Randy Wardrum alone. But James, let's move on. Let's take a trip to Ghana. Chris Hughton, unfortunately, he also lost his father recently, and the GFA has explained that the reason why he hasn't been unveiled is because he had to travel to England to bury his father, but will finally be unveiled on March 20. That is 3 days to the Black Stars game against Angola. I've also heard that he's been given 3-year contract with the JFA, of course, with an official residence attached to it. But James, another controversy actually brewed again. Remember Jeffrey Schlupp, the Crystal Palace player? The 2022 World Cup, it was omitted by Otuado. And remember what followed, where Schlupp's representative or agent had to blast the GFA. Now, it came up again because it was omitted in that list released by Chris Hughton. And the GFA had to come out to exonerate themselves. They said it was completely the decision of Chris Hughton not to invite him. I think if you ask me, Chris Hughton is a remnant of the past of Otuado's regime. And we knew what Schlupp's agent said about Otuado. So I think it's just the same situation playing out again regarding Schlupp. I think Chris Hughton has not forgotten the nasty things his agent said after he was left out of the 2022 World Cup squad that went to Qatar.
Yes, with what the agent said then, I mean, if he had been invited, it would put Otuado for me in a bad light, So it's as if you're succumbing to what the agent said. So you'd like, okay, because what he said, you're trying to make him be in your good. You want to be in their good books. I mean, so Hughton is the new head coach, so he knows the players, so he is at liberty to choose who he feels will suit his game plan. So for him leaving out Schlupp, I mean, that's his call. He has made it. He has released his team, and he believes that the players that he invited are good enough to face Angola. And then let's just hope that the players turn up and do well. Because if they fail to do well, I mean, people will like, oh, you have players like Schlupp who have been regular for Crystal Palace, who are even struggling, and they just sacked their coach, Patrick Vieira, So
yeah, today,
so that So I mean, like I said, Hughton is the coach. He made the call. He invited the players. The most important thing now is to support the team so that they're able to focus and qualify for the AFCON. Because this game against Angola is going to be a very tricky tie. It's not going to be very easy. at all. When you're playing, especially in Africa, I mean, that it's as if it's war. So the Black Stars should be ready for war against Angola. These teams, they are teams that they can shock you if you don't put your acts together. So for me, he has made the call. Yeah, he has been saddled with the responsibility of handling the team. But Femi, remember I told you that he's someone that I want to the GFA to appoint based on the fact that he has been with the team. So bringing
So
another.
you're part of the process, James. You're part of the
Yes,
process, right?
I told you. So it's just common sense because I mean, why would you want to go out and bring somebody that will now come in and like as if you want to start all over again? You now have players who will now struggle to adapt, players who can't adapt to the tactics and whatever. So for me, it's a good call that he's made the coach. The most important thing now is to give him the support so that the team will be able to deliver. But that's the most important thing now because anything that makes them to struggle to qualify, even if they qualify and they struggle and it's not convincing, Chris will start to get the hits. I trust the Ghanaian people. They don't take. I trust what they can do. They will come all out against him. They might even start calling for his sack if the team is not playing well. I trust them for that. So, like I said, the team needs all the support. He has gotten it, and let's just hope that they don't disappoint Ghanaians.
Okay, so the National Sport Authority in Ghana, they slashed a drastic slash in the gate fee for that game against Angola. So for VVIP, they're going to be paying 70 cedis, and for VIP, it's going to be 50 cedis, and for the regular stand, it's going to be just 20 cedis, and for the wing and the center line, it's going to be between 50 and 30 cedis. So of course, I know that Ghanaians want to turn out in the numbers and see at least that's going to be the first game. And they will want to give Chris Hughton the massive support that he wants. James, let's talk about the bid for the 2030 FIFA World Cup now. Morocco and Egypt, they are putting a different bid. And I think that might reduce the chance of, having a cohesive support from the continental point of view. Because FIFA president, Mani has come out to say that Africa must have to support one bid. So quickly, I'll quickly make some points because Morocco, they've decided to join a joint bid with Portugal and Spain, because of the geographical location. They are kind of contiguous. Same thing as Egypt is partnering with Saudi Arabia and Greece to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup. James, what are you going to do? Because even Walid Regragui, the Moroccan coach, has come out to throw his weight behind the decision of his country to co-host with Spain and Portugal. But what would you say, James? We need to put our force together, but at the moment, it seems we are going in different direction. And CAF President Motepe is warning that that will not be good for Africa.
But Femi, all this bids thing is what you propose to FIFA. If they like the idea, why not? We've seen two countries. Even in the 2026 World Cup, we're going to be hosted by 3 countries: USA, Canada, and Mexico.
And Mexico, yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, countries have their reasons why they want to co-host with other countries. Football, things evolve. The days when just one country that will come out and say they want to host, blah blah blah. In 2002, we had the first World Cup co-host, Japan and Korea. So in our level of FIFA, if they will accept back-to-back co-hosting of the World Cup 2026, is going to be 3 countries. Are they going to accept 3 countries again?
But sorry, James. I was looking at. Sorry to cut in. I was looking at the 2 co-hosting entities now. I looked at Portugal and Spain and Morocco.
Yes.
These 3 countries are close if you look at the world map. But looking at Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia and Egypt might be close, but Greece, it's a bit far off. So I'm thinking that even if FIFA will support any co-host at the end of the day, Morocco might just win it with Spain and Portugal.
Yeah. For the 3 from Egypt, Greece, and Saudi Arabia, I mean, they would have sorted that out for Greece to be involved. I think they would have looked at the geographical location and all those things before they decide to say, okay, they want to come together and host. FIFA will not tell you, no, FIFA will not dictate. If at the end of the day you submit your bid and you are able to impress FIFA, why not? They will ask you to go ahead. So that's just it about this World Cup. And one aspect about this thing about the World Cup is that we don't know. It's between Africa and Europe now coming together as a force to host the World Cup. It's not about even when you co-host coming from the same region. I think the beauty of it now is countries from different continents can come together and co-host the World Cup. I think that's what I see in these countries coming together. So, like I said, it's the call. FIFA has the call to make. If they are satisfied with the co-host by these three countries, the countries from different distance, I mean, they will give them the green light to go ahead. If not, they will come against it. So, let's just wait. Like I said, FIFA has the final say. If they are satisfied with it, if all the requirements are met, why not? FIFA will ask them to go ahead. I mean, the World Cup, it goes beyond just football. It's like tourist it goes it goes beyond football. The World Cup, it cuts across everything: entertainment, sport, tourism. So it gives people opportunity to visit these countries and enjoy yourself. So that's the good thing about hosting. It's not even when a country hosts the World Cup, you don't get to see all this thing. But when different countries come together, you have this opportunity to go around and have fun. That's the good thing. So let's if I just sit down and go through their proposals, and at the end of the day, come up with the best countries that will host this World Cup.
Okay, all right. So I'm also looking forward to a time maybe, when Ghana and Nigeria will put in a joint bid for the World Cup, maybe at 2100. Only God knows, James, but it would be nice to have maybe Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin Republic. James, before we go, the Squares of Benin are no longer Squares of Benin. So when next you call them the Squares of Benin, you might be liable to a lawsuit. So they've changed their name to the Cheetahs of Benin. That is what they have changed their name into now. And the women will be called the Amazons of Benin. So I think we need to take that into consideration. After years of struggling as a Square, Square is vulnerable. Is a prey in the jungle. Is a prey in the jungle. So I think now they've renamed the national team a Cheetah. It's difficult to catch a cheetah. Even sometimes the lion has to struggle. You have to just take note of that the Squares of Benin are no longer Squares of Benin. They are now Cheetahs of Benin, and their women are Amazon of Benin. Unfortunately, we wanted to look at the week 22 in the Bet Power Ghana Premier League, but time is not on our side. And of course, the Nigeria Professional Football League are still on break. So the league will be resuming on the 26th of this month after the national elections have been concluded. James Agberebe, thank you for coming through on the show today.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. Always a pleasure.
Okay, so from this moment on, we know that after this weekend, players will be flying in for their respective countries. 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles have a date with Guinea Bissau. They played Guinea Bissau at the last year's AFCON at the same group, and it was an easy one for the Super Eagles. So we hope that it will be the same. And for Ghana, it will be at the beginning of a long journey for Chris Hughton. And of course, Cameroon, they have a day with Namibia. And so it goes like that. So many fixtures. So on Monday, we'll be bringing you all the fixtures, and we'll look at how other African countries are preparing for this time. So until next time, we'll see you. Please click on that notification button to get our video as soon as they drop. And please share our videos. And of course, some people have said that we've not been talking about a lot of things in Nigeria. Is because the league is on break. And of course, we were waiting for the release of the list for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Of course, we said something about that at the beginning of the show. So until we see you, I remain Ashalula Femi, signing out for Nigeria Papa Soro. Bye.